Okay. For those live and for those who are watching this on Zoom, this pre-recorded. Uh, so welcome. I want to give a little bit of an intro tonight. Pretty much every class is about this. some some aspect of this, and that's what Qigong, arises from. Is the interplay of opposites, of in this case of yin and yang. So tonight we're going to explore inner and outer. And of course, with all these things, and if you study Zen at all, um, you understand that opposites are views. And so there's a view of internal, and there's a view of external. And it's functional because clearly our organs are inside our body. And the trees and houses and mountains out there aren't. And at the same time, um, when you really look deeply at these concepts, it's very difficult to, it becomes increasingly difficult to separate out inside from outside. And so what some of the scientists say is that the really the beginning of consciousness or beginning of life forms has to be that there's inside and outside. So even a one-celled living thing, there's the internal part of the cell, and then there's the environment. And it's that boundary that designates this as a living thing. Um, but uh, the one-celled organism is made up of elements from the outside, and in fact, it arises from the outside. It comes into being. Maybe it's cell division, but it can be seen as um, the elements interacting with consciousness in this way. So it comes into being, it has a life, and then eventually it dissolves, physically dissolves into the outside again. And then another one arises again. So there's this dynamic. So yes, there is inside. Yes, there is outside. And yes, there's a dynamic relationship, not a static relationship between inside and outside. So all of this, these practices we're going to do tonight, this is all training through the body. Okay, so it's these teachings and insights through the body. So the Taoists locate different levels of internality and different levels of externality in the body. Okay, and so tonight, so that we're going to do smiling to the organs, which is bringing consciousness to the inside, and then we're going to go more deeply into the dantians and into the horizontal column axis, which you can read as a metaphor, or you can say is energies flowing through this body. And we're going to explore that until eventually it loses its discrimination between inside and outside. Okay, and then likewise expanding out eventually comes around full circle to just consciousness. Okay, so uh, the organs, and I just want to say one more thing about this. The organs in Taoism and Taoist philosophy are actually seen as having independent consciousnesses. And it gets very esoteric. But just briefly, there's truth to this. You know, the heart knows how to beat, and the stomach knows how to digest, and the lungs know how to process blood and air, and the liver knows how to filter. And so in a sense, you can look at these organs and say, well, they do this independently. They do not require intelligent direction from the mind. We can be asleep and these things are functioning. We don't even have to think about it. So they consider these organs to be sort of co-participants in this body-mind formation, if that makes sense. And so that's important to understand before we go into sort of the Nigong practices. Okay, so let's get started. So, by the way, we've got 30 people signed up for the retreat on November 12th on Zoom. So there's still time to do that if you want to get the link. So just a real basic contemplation here is just, just for a moment, just being aware of the body and the space around the body. And we don't think much of the space around the body, but we just, just acknowledge it. That the body is moving in space. And space has a presence. And not in exactly the same way that the body does, but space has a presence. And the body has a presence. And the mind recognizes this. And it has to do with honoring the space. Just, we want to honor the body, take care of the body. We want to honor the space too. And we can sense it if someone's standing too close to us. It's not comfortable. They're in our space. They're not respecting our space. They're not honoring the space around our bodies. So our tactile sense actually extends beyond the skin. We're aware of objects around the body, and if there's something sharp or hot or dangerous, we're going to stay away from it, even though we haven't touched it. If someone's standing too close to us, we feel that. So there's a sense of just recognizing the space is very important. And then also bringing the attention internally and just feeling into the torso and just recognizing that this body is an amazing complex compilation of organ systems and so on that are inside the skin. Okay, and then just in this standing posture, using the breath, remember it's body, breath, and mind. So using the breath to be aware of this. So with the in-breath, we bring our awareness inside the body. We feel the lungs. We feel the chest and belly move. With the in-breath, we enliven the body, the internal body. And that feeling of aliveness in the body can be felt throughout the whole body. And in Buddhist meditation, there's whole body breathing. And in fact, every cell in the body is breathing in its own way. So with the in-breath, we bring the attention into the inside. With the out-breath, we extend the attention from the internal out to the skin, and feel the tingling in the skin and beyond. So out breath, the air goes out. Also, our attention goes out, and it goes out in all directions through the pores of the skin. Now, the body is exuding heat. Okay, so we're just going to kind of ride with that. The body's surrounded by this heat. The body's also putting out electromagnetic force. And so we're with the mind and the out breath, we're extending the sense of touch into the space around the body. It's totally doable in all directions, front, back, all around. So that the body is kind of this fuzzy thing that feels bigger. And just as the air that we're breathing out eventually moves all around the planet, the same is true of the heat that we're putting out. And also in the Taoist tradition, all objects have some level of consciousness, even if it's just at an atomic level. But the consciousness that we consider to be inside actually extends, if you like, to all living beings. And really to everything that has an inside and an outside. Because all of it is impermanent, comes and goes. Boundlessness into form, form into boundlessness. Form is in breath, boundlessness, out breath. In breath, boundlessness takes form. Out breath, form dissipates into boundlessness. Okay, very good. Well, let's go ahead now and honor the space around us. So we're just going to orient ourselves. It's like we're in the center of a map, and we're going to orient ourselves to the directions. So starting with the east. South. West. North. Above. Extend. So above is out and around. And below. And then within. This is the seventh direction. So this bowing to the directions it's honoring the space around. It's honoring the internal space. And by doing these movements, we're somewhat diffusing the limitations between inner and outer. Okay, very good. Now let's just go ahead and loosen up, stretch out the body. You know, if we use this range of motion, then we keep it. And if we only move within our comfort zone, we eventually lose some of our range of motion. So that's why we want to kind of do these exaggeratedly, sort of more than we're used to moving, just to keep the ability to stay loose, to move, to be flexible. And then when you're doing this on your own, you know, check out maybe your back or upper shoulders are particularly tight. And, you know, doing this for 1 minute or whatever isn't really enough. And maybe, you know, you want to do it a little more, or do the shoulders a little more. I don't know how you're feeling, so I just do it, you know, the length of time that I do it. But for you, you're going to want to, you know, loosen up as much or as little as you feel you need to. So it's beneficial. Okay. And now you can do this. Exhale when you fold in, inhale when you open up. Or you can do reverse breathing if you like, which is it's a whole other set of practices, but it's fine. It's beneficial to do reverse breathing. As long as you're moving in rhythm with the breath. Breathing in or breathing out, in a sense, isn't that important. It's just moving with the breath. Now, this is a gesture of opening and closing, isn't it? So if you like, if you're prone to visualization as a meditation technique, just taught a lot in Taoist practice. So you can visualize this, it's like you're opening up a seed pod, like a pod of green peas. You're just splitting it there in the middle, opening up the whole body, and then closing it. So if the arms are like wings, so you open, you close, and that enables the bird to fly. So whatever works for you, whatever imaging works for you. But again, this is deconstructing the distinct difference between inside and outside. Okay? So we're closing, that's inside, we're opening outside. Or we're gathering from the outside, putting it inside, and then we're opening, we're releasing. However this works for you. But that's what this gesture is. It's a big gesture of breathing. This is whole body breathing again. And then last time we did the 7 gates, and so this is the 4th gate. So this is opening, all 7 gates, kind of turning the body inside out. And this pumping, this is a cleansing, circulating the chi, cleansing the body. Okay, let's just do a couple more. Okay, very good. And now rocking the pelvis. Again, exaggerating this movement to keep the flexibility in the hip joints, in the pelvis. Really arching the back more than we normally do, and then pushing to the front to preserve and extend the range of motion of the hips. Okay. You don't have to do it a super long time. Just reminding the body that it can move that much. And then this one too, you know, we may not in the course of our daily life move this much, but we can. And so by doing this movement in a bit of an exaggerated way, we're keeping that flexibility. And then you circle one way, then you circle the other way. Actually, this can be a whole body movement if you want it to be. We just relax the whole body. Okay, good. And now just the balance. So when you're ready, when you get all the weight on that foot, okay. All right, very, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and bring up our sitting stool. Okay, and as many of you know, so Qigong is internal Qigong, moving the energy in the body. Okay, and so this requires the presence of body, breath, and mind. So just find your meditation posture. You can place your hands like this if you want to on your knees or however you want to. And we'll just begin with the most traditional breath practice, the microcosmic orbit. So dropping the attention, and this is important, so when we can use the eyes can be closed or partly open. We're going to look down, we're going to turn our eyes 180 degrees, so they're not looking out, they're looking in. And we're going to look down the center line of the body, down to the perineum. That's where we're going to begin, right where the body meets the cushion or chair. So in there, in breath, we're going to breathe in through the perineum, and we're going to bring the attention up the spine with the in breath to the top of the head, and then out breath, we're going to move the eyes down the inside front of the body, and we're going to bring the attention down the front back to the perineum. In breath up, out breath down. You can use your eyes or just let them rest. This puts us in touch, sensually in touch with the spine. Our tension's going up the spine, then the skull, then the face, and then the organs in the body going down the front. And now again, we're not thinking this or imagining it. We're feeling it. And there may be an image with it, but this is a feeling practice. We can feel the breath in the body. Body, breath, and mind are one. The mind is moving the attention with the breath. So whenever body, breath, and mind are one, they're in harmony, then the presence of life force energy, the aliveness, becomes more clear. There's just a presence. You can call it aliveness, you can feel it as tingling and heat, you can call it consciousness, there's just an awareness, a presence, when body, breath, and mind are all in balance. Now, if you want, rather than doing the oval, the microcosmic orbit, and just go to breathing the stars. So in breath, the light of the stars rushes in, fills up the torso, lights it up. Out breath, it disperses out in all directions. And the first practice, the microcosmic orbit, that's moving the attention or the chi in the body. The second one, the breathing the stars, that's dissolving the boundaries of the body and interacting with the space around the body. And just relax with it. Don't try too hard. Okay, very good. Do a couple more breaths. Okay, the next Qigong practice is smiling to the organs. This is very, very old. And the procedure is simple. So first we're going to visualize right in front of us, right in front of our face. We're going to visualize this smile. This always kind of reminds me of the Cheshire Cat. There's sort of this smile. It's just this smile of awareness, smile of the Buddha, any kind of big smile. We just get a clear image of it. And then with the next in-breath, we're going to breathe that smile in. We're going to breathe it into the lungs. And then with each pair of breaths, we're going to circulate that smile, or maybe it reproduces many smiles around the lungs. So we're smiling, we're bringing joy, awareness. We're happy that we have lungs. We're appreciating our lungs. We usually ignore them. But now, we're sending them love, happiness, joy in the form of this smile that's moving all around the lungs. And kind of waking them up. And remember, in the Taoist teachings, the lungs have their own consciousness. So it's almost like you're smiling to somebody else. And then they're feeling that. And maybe feel a little gratitude for the lungs. And then we fill the lungs with this brilliant white light. The lungs are glowing with this white light. Okay, very good. So now we just leave that be. And again, visualize the smile in front of your face. With the next in-breath, we're going to breathe that smile into the heart. The heart is quite big. And the smile is just moving all around this muscle, the heart. We're very glad that we have this heart here and that it knows what it's doing. And we fill the heart with a ruby red light. The heart is just glowing with health. And our attention is lighting it up. And the lungs are this brilliant white. So in this practice, the colors remain. Okay, smiling to the heart. Thank you. Honoring it. It has its own intelligence. It knows what it's doing. Okay, very good. Okay, and now the next out breath. And now we'll go back and visualize that smile again. And with the next in breath, we're going to breathe that in, and we're going to breathe it into the liver gallbladder, which is high up, just under the lungs on the right. It's big, it's very big. And the smile is going to float all around in there. And we're very happy and we're honoring the liver for doing what it does, which is to filter and purify the blood and the gallbladder. And we're going to bring an emerald green light and light up the liver and gallbladder. Just brilliant. It's jewel. All the lights are jewel-like. And we have the ruby red light in the heart and the brilliant white light in the lungs. And we're grateful for this wonderful organ. Okay, very good. Next one, we'll visualize the smile. We'll breathe it in with the next in breath and breathe it down to the spleen, just sort of opposite the liver on the other side. Big organ again. And we're smiling to the spleen. The spleen has been doing its job all these years, doing great. We're just acknowledging it and grateful for it, thanking it. Happy to have it. And we'll bring a brilliant yellow light, amber light, to the spleen, along with the emerald green of the liver, the ruby red of the heart, and the luminous white of the lungs. So the torso is just this collection of jewels that are living and filled with this brilliant light. Just feel all of it. Okay. All right, and next one. Now we're going to visualize the smile. And the next in-breath, breathe that down the esophagus down into the stomach and the intestines, small intestines, large intestines, the whole system, digestive system. And the smile floats all around in there. The stomach is doing so great, and the intestines, they all know what they're doing. We're honoring them. It's amazing. We don't have to control any of it. They're all living their lives in this body. And we bring to that this beautiful pink light to the stomach and to the intestines. Okay, and now the whole torso is glowing with the pink and the yellow and the green and the red and the white, all those lights. It's glowing with health. Okay, and then next one, let the smile appear. We're going to breathe it in and breathe it down to the kidneys, which are big and they're kind of in the back and somewhat high up. Breathe a smile into the kidneys. and fill them each with a brilliant blue light, luminous blue light. The whole torso is full of this rainbow light. And now we let that rainbow light fill the whole torso. Any organs we might have missed, like the pancreas and so on. But we're just, that whole torso is, it's brilliant, it's illuminated, it's luminous, and we're smiling to it. Gratitude for this miraculous body. And now with the breath, we're breathing in through the pores of the skin and breathing that rainbow light out in all directions. We're exuding health and wellness, gratitude and well-being. And breathe it back in. Okay, very good. Very good. Take a few more breaths, and we'll go back to standing. And the next level of internal is the acupuncture meridians and the dantians and this internal column of energy connecting earth and sky. So earth, human, heaven, this sort of very subtle structure of the body. And as we stand, we can bring attention to starting down at the center of the earth, all the elements, and then up, bringing up to the bottoms of the feet, moving the attention up the legs up to the perineum, and then bringing the hands up over the abdomen and letting them move with the breath, and then bringing bringing attention to the lower dantian, the seat of ancestral chi. Okay, and then dipping the knees, next in-breath, coming up that central column, bringing attention to the heart, the middle dantian. Okay, the lower dantian is straight down below, the earth is down below that. Posture is vertical, aligned. The seat of relationships, the seat of circulation. Okay, dipping the knees again, and then lighting up the neck, and then the brain, lighting up the brain, the upper dantian, extending up, 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 looking up, extending out up into the universe. So the whole body is aligned with the light of the stars and down, all the way down to the earth. Okay, and with the next out breath, so tree and spring, connecting out in all directions. So exterior, pointing to the earth, now pointing to the interior, bringing the awareness up through the dantians, out the head, up, 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 extending way up. So one with the light of the stars, and then out in all directions, one with the whole manifest realm, down to the earth again, and again I'm pointing to the body, in breath. So internal leaves the top of the head, extends out the hands. Okay, external, way, way, way out, way out, way out, all directions. Exhale, down to the earth. Form gives rise to the body. In breath. Up the body. Touch the hands, extend the attention, way out, all directions, feeling out in all directions. Good. Okay, one more. So this body and this consciousness is not separate from all there is, from the space around it, and is akin to all form. There's form and there's boundlessness. And there's energy and there's consciousness. And we are not separate. Ultimately. And when we get too tied up in knots with all the things that we're worried and concerned about and focusing on and moving toward, if we just take a breath and remind ourselves that we are actually one with all form and with all consciousness, we can take that breath and this feeling returns. And now we can move forward in the world of separateness with more wisdom and with more love. Okay, so when you're ready, go ahead and loosen the body a little bit and do our closing movement together. So 1, 2, 3. Just massaging the face, eye sockets. Be aware of the breath. Be aware of taking an in-breath when you're feeling more relaxed. The temples. Jaw. Okay, and tapping the kidneys. Massaging the kidneys. Okay, thank you so much for your presence, either in person or later on YouTube. And if you would like to leave, that's great. Go ahead and do it. If you'd like to stay for questions and comments, then we can do that. Hi, Zoe.
Hey, it's just so, are you going to turn off the recording or are you going to keep it on?
I will turn it off.